I'm paying all this money for you to be able to study in this classroom. How dare you spend time throwing hoops as opposed to, working on these 2 math problems?
Basically, the strategy for China is that we just want to get as many gold medals as possible.
China has been doing really well in individual games, like diving, table tennis, badminton, shooting, etc.
Yeah, so that's the big question then. Why is China so good at individual sports like diving, shooting?
Yeah, but not as present in team sports.
Yeah,
and
like
we're
football
wondering
or
why.
basketball. When I think like basketball, I just know like Yao Ming and that's it pretty much. And that was also just NBA. I don't know any big.
It's not a Chinese team, right? It's just one player, which goes back to it's this one individual, not the team.
I have some like little bit of evidence of this too. Like when I look at the past, this is the latest 2024 Olympics, and you can see in US, for example, dominating the football tournament, basketball tournament. But if I scroll through Chinese gold medals, then it's all individual sports.
Oh, there's a big one over there, down there. What's that sport?
Swimming.
Oh, okay. It still
Still
counts
a
as
small team. Still, I guess.
What about the one down there? It's also swimming. Okay.
It's all swimming. Yeah.
Interesting.
But still, no like big team events, but individual events. And I did some snooping around and like, why is this happening? And it seems like this is part of the Chinese strategy.
Okay, educate me.
Yeah, the name is Jugo Tichi. Jugo Tichi. Some part of the
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. 举国体制.
Jugo Tichi. And this is the meaning, I guess, whole nation system. It's basically the strategy for China is that we just want to get as many gold medals as possible. And it seems they kind of came up with this back in the 80s, where the government was just like funneling money into sports, where specifically they knew they could get like lots of medals. Back in the 80s, China wasn't getting that many medals, and seems like now it's working really well, because 2024, like the one over here, they were number 2, right behind US. US got like 120 medals or something like that. China got 91. And back in 2008, China was also number 1 in terms of medals as well. So
yeah, because that one was hosted in Beijing.
Home court advantage. Can't lose there. But it has worked really well.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I still very clearly remember how big of an event it was when we won the hosting right for the 2008 Olympics. Because I think China at the time was trying to establish our own reputation, our standing in the global landscape. And Olympics, or being able to host Olympics and being able to present ourselves as a nation that's strong in sports and games is one of the indicators of us uprising in the global stage. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not surprised to hear a policy like that in place. I don't think I've really heard anything specific about that when I was in China, but it doesn't surprise me at all and makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the whole idea is that you start scouting kids as young as possible, and I guess it's Uber optimization. That you see some kids that are like only like 5 years old. They're like, okay, these ones are more athletic, so let's pick those ones out and put them into like ultra specialized schools,
like gymnastics schools and swimming schools and stuff.
Okay, like this kid looks more flexible, let's put them in gymnastics. Okay, this kid is more maybe bulky, let's put them in like weightlifting or something like that. And based on those skills, then because they get put into these super specialized schools, then that's their like core focus and mission and goal in life, which is become great at that. So the academic stuff doesn't matter that much
for them. I think that's aligned with what I've seen and what I've heard too. And I think part of it is coming from the fact that there are so many people in China back at the time. And for you to be really standing out on something, it doesn't make sense for everybody to squeeze in the academia route. And for a lot of kids who are coming from no money, right, from the countryside, from villages, etc., they probably didn't have the money or resources to go to school and be good at grades anyways. So one of the ways to make their life more notable is to send them to gymnastics or swimming or anything like that. The hope is if you train really hard, you might be able to become a really good athlete and win the honor for the nation, for the country.
Yeah, and then you really become, as I understand, a state-supported servant, I guess, so government employee, basically, where you just make money from the government and you get housing from the government just to do your sports thing then.
In training. Yeah, I think that's a good point. One of those parents' consideration too, right? Because for them, all we have, like we're a poor family. I don't have the resources to send my kids to school. So if I send them off to the sports school, then at least they'll be fed. They'll have a place to stay and they'll have some allowances just for playing the sports. So at least it's a safety net to make sure they are fed, they have food, they have accommodation, etc.
Well,
yeah.
But what if they were still like a poorer kid, but like they were still good at math?
Going to school costs money. So the way the system works, I'll take my mom as an example. She was really good at math and in school when she was young, but she was the middle kid in the family.
Nobody cares about the middle kid?
That's not what I'm saying, but what had effectively happened was she had to take a year or two off to care for her younger brother. So then by the time she went back to school and she went back to junior high after the brother was old enough to take care of himself and all that, then what's in front of her are two paths. So right after junior high, you either have the option to go to like high school and then go to university and then find a job, etc. And that's the elite route, because going to high school costs money, going to university costs money. So that's option number one. Option number two is you would go to this, I don't know what you call it in English. It's like a college in North America where you skip high school and university, you go straight to college and you learn some sort of skills. So you will graduate from the college and you'll be sort of guaranteed a job. But the job might not be as glamorous and as fancy and high paying as those coming out of university, but then you would need to pay for tuition for the college and you're guaranteed a job. So she eventually went through the second option or second route because her family doesn't have any money. But she was resilient and determined enough to self-study and get into university after herself. So it doesn't really matter if you're really good at school. If the family doesn't have money to pay for school, then you don't get to go.
But that's for university specifically then, not for high school? Or
no, you'll have to go to high school to be able to qualify for university. But high school costs money versus college does not.
You don't have free high school? Or it's just not as good? No?
No.
No? You have to pay for all school?
No, all the way until junior high. So from grade 1 to grade 9, it's public. It's technically free. But after that, it costs money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I guess that's where it then falls apart too for these team sports, which is, the rest of the kids, you weren't picked out to be a child prodigy in diving or gymnastics at 5. You just get funneled into this, I guess, the standard education system where your ranking and grades matter a lot to get to the best universities and push opportunities there, which means you don't really have the time to think about doing team sports or let's go out and throw some hoops and hang around and
I'm paying all this money for you to be able to study in this classroom? How dare you spend time throwing hoops as opposed to, working on these 2 math problems? Yeah, that's sort of the path we're put into back at the time.
Yeah, but it looks like change is coming. It seems like, the government push to get gold medals has now worked, and it seems like China has taken the next steps to then push it even further, where there's a long-term, like 35-year plan to by 2050 basically start dominating the world of football or soccer then. Yeah. And already now it seems like you want to have 50,000 soccer academies and really get into this world of soccer.
Yeah, I'm really afraid to dabble into the world of soccer or football in the context of China, because as a nation of billions of people with millions of soccer or football fans, we surprisingly suck at soccer. And I can't figure out why, because...
But I guess it's the same thing. Like, nobody plays soccer really, so...
No, people do. And the few soccer players that are like serving right now, as long as you're any good, you're going to be able to live a very luxurious lifestyle. So the incentive is there, the motivation is there, the interest is there. But for some reason, we suck. And it broke so many fans' heart. And we couldn't find a way to turn this around. And I remember a joke floating through the internet at one point in time. People were saying, we have so many people in the nation. If we had, given the prisoners a quota and say, if all of you collectively can make it and can break into the World Cup by this time, you'll be free from prison. We will for sure make it happen. They will for sure make it happen. But I think part of the reason was because as a nation, we have so many resources and so many fans that's flooding into this 1 or 2 okay players. They lost the motivation to work harder to become really good because they already living a very good life now. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this would evolve. It's been, almost 10 years now by the time this proposal came out. I'm not a football fan, so I don't know where we're standing there, but
I guess
hopefully we'll
probably
get somewhere.
takes time too.
Yeah.
And I guess, so far China hadn't picked out these 5-year-olds to then push money into those soccer teams so much, so maybe that's the change that's going to happen now.
Yeah.
But I guess for final remarks then, like, what do you think about this career optimization that you pick out a kid, 5 years old, and this is what you do now?
Yeah, that's been not a struggle, but something I've been thinking, especially when whenever I watch Olympics or World Championship series, you would see people spending 4 years just to get a millisecond faster than how they were 4 years ago. And they took them 10 hours of practice every day. But then at the same time, you would also see those part-time athletes, right? What's a sport you call it? Where you throw something on the ice and it goes on to hit the...
like curling or something?
I think so, yeah, curling. So I think in the last Winter Olympics, the curling athletes that Canada sent out, they were like part-time curling athletes. Their full-time job was at like big 4 accounting firms or something. So at the time I started thinking, which way is a better model? Like, should we really be pushing human beings that hard just to break the record? Would it be a more balanced life just to make sports something they can do as a leisure or as a healthy lifestyle? So I don't know, if I had kids, I probably wouldn't put them into a swimming or athletic school at 5 years old and say this is your whole life purpose now. But I think it really depends on them. If they were to come to me and say this is all I want to do for the rest of my life, then I'll just have to support.
Yeah, I do see a lot of benefits for this though. I've thought about even my own life in some sense, and I think you end up wherever you end up for a reason. But I also thought about I picked up a lot of different things when I was also like 13, 14, and I think thinking back also at some point you feel like, oh, you maybe could have started earlier or focused really like, oh, what if I focus down on that one particular thing, for example, where it's like, okay, if I did focus down on, let's say, basketball at like 8, probably the chance of then ending up me being an NBA would be a lot higher versus, I don't know, if I was then at 13 years old, I don't know, when like Martin Garrix started to make like EDM or music or DJing, but I also dabbled with it. But if I also would have been like forced to lock in with it, probably a high chance that I would have ended up being like whatever.
But at the same time, sitting where you're right now you played basketball, right? At a certain professional level, you've done your DJing in the past. You know how that works. Have you played piano?
Very little, no, but I would say the DJing and
basketball.
I've at least for DJing and stuff, like I've made money from it, but it's also not like I haven't been like a global superstar for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which probably again needs probably a lot of more work.
Yeah, but now you've got all those different toolkits where you can pull up and say, oh, I'm feeling a little bored today, let me do some DJing. I'm feeling a little athletic today, let me throw some
I guess
hoops.
you can always go back to it if you wanted to.
Exactly. You'll just never be a world champion. But how many people, how many out of all who spend all their life just playing basketball can be an NBA star? It's also very little.
I guess with more creative work, if you compare basketball and DJing, creative stuff, it is... You still, I guess, always will have a chance. I'm sure if there's like an 80-year-old guy that decides that I'm going to become a DJ now and goes viral, and then I'm sure things can happen.
Yeah.
Versus probably an 80-year-old basketball probably not going to make it to the league anymore.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you for the analysis. Now it makes a lot more sense. And I'm looking forward to more Chinese teams that's coming out on the rise.
I wonder now, is it the time to invest into
football?
Whatever FIFA stocks are, or I don't know what they even are, but they have football, because if this happens, I assume a lot of more money will go into the sport itself as well.
Oh, how can we start investing?